Yeah, let's start with NCAA. Marshall Faulk, legendary Aztec running back, Rams running back, Colts running back. Used to work for NFL Network before he got let go. Marshall Faulk is back in football. He's been hired by Deion Sanders to be the running back coach. He becomes a third Hall of Famer on the Colorado football staff. This will be interesting because he's never been a coach anywhere, anytime, any place. And I'll tell you, that existence, that's very time-consuming. That's very demanding. Marshall Faulk was a great player. I don't know if Marshall Faulk was dedicated to being great after his playing days were over because he tried his hand at different things and virtually nothing worked out. But Marshall Faulk has gone to Boulder and is going to be the running back coach, so there'll be a learning curve for him. Congratulations to Kevin O'Connell, ex-Aztec quarterback, coach of the year in the National Football League. He outpolled Dan Campbell. I think Kevin O'Connell wound up getting 23 first-place votes. I think Dan Campbell of Detroit got 15. Kevin O'Connell, coach of the year in the NFL. Josh Allen, NFL MVP. This one kind of really surprised me. He's a one-man gang. What a job he did in Buffalo. But he really dominated the voting against the Baltimore Ravens quarterback Lamar Jackson, who did phenomenal things statistically. So I was surprised there. Aaron Rodgers, New York Jets have informed him he will not be back. He's going to be released. That's a bit of a stunner. This after meetings between Aaron Glenn, the new head coach, and Aaron Rodgers. There's just kind of an undercurrent of feeling. There's a lot of money would be tied up with him with a roster bonus if he's on the roster in March. They don't want to pay that amount of money. Secondly, there's this whole imagery that Aaron Rodgers is his own entity and the New York Jets are over there. And I think Aaron Glenn's persona is nobody's bigger than the team. And Aaron Rodgers had acted like he was bigger than the team that turned a lot of people off the last 2 years in New York. So Aaron Rodgers is going to be out of a job. We've been talking about the 49ers and they're wrecked by injuries. Deebo Samuels has been given permission to shop himself to find a team that wants to trade for him. So we knew changes were coming in Frisco. Somebody's leaving at wide receiver, whether it was Deebo or Brandon Ayuk. Somebody was going to vacate because of salary issues. Deebo is the one that's going to get traded. Devontae Adams. Now, he, of course, had been with the Raiders, Green Bay prior to that. Then he talked his way out, and he wound up going to the Jets. He's leaving the Jets. He's asking the Jets to trade him or release him. He wants to play on the West Coast. He's talked about the Rams. He's talked about the 49ers. He's kind of intimated the Chargers. He's going to wind up out here somewhere on the West Coast, probably before the draft. And Cooper Kupp has been told he will be traded by the Rams. It's a salary cap issue. People in LA are really unhappy about that because he had a linkage to Matthew Stafford. He was a really good player, but he's got a $29 million cap figure. Evidently, the Rams are willing to pay a piece of Cooper Kupp's salary to get salary cap relief. Now, he's not young. He's 32. He's had injuries 3 straight seasons. I'd love to see the Chargers get him at an affordable price because they need somebody like Cooper Kupp that knows the game, is very responsible, catches balls, yards after catch, and all that. So, John, there's a lot of names there. Pick some names off the board. Where do you want to go? That's what's happened off the field in the NFL and to a degree in college football.
Love seeing the Aztecs up at the top of the list, and number 1 and number 2. What do you think about Aaron Rodgers to the Raiders? I think that makes sense.
At what price? You can tie up all your money in a 42-year-old quarterback?
Well, who else you got?
Well, but there will be guys out there. You know, if you're asking me, yeah, but it has to be an affordable price. I'm not going to pay Aaron Rodgers $40 million at age 42 because his numbers have drastically decreased and there's an injury factor. Now there's an attitude factor. Or are you shoving the attitude aside because it's Aaron Rodgers? He's been productive with the way he acts on the field. But who's the head coach? Pete Carroll. But who's the coordinator? Chip Kelly. What's Chip Kelly want? Quarterback who can run. Younger guy, legs, things of that nature. How does Tom Brady, who carries clout and influence, how does Tom Brady view Aaron Rodgers at age 42? It's novel to think Raiders, Aaron Rodgers. Please tell me you're not going out there getting a shiny object again. I thought we decided that was not the way the Raiders are going to do business.
They need a veteran quarterback, at least for a portion, if not the full year, because they're
Mhm.
going to draft a quarterback. Hopefully, maybe they can trade up. But if it's not him, and we've talked about Tannehill, we've talked about
Jameis
Jameis
Winston.
Winston. I mean, they've been throwing a few other names around, but I mean, Aaron Rodgers makes sense to me. And by the way, I mean, Josh Allen, good on him for winning that MVP, but I think the Lamar Jackson's stats were better than Josh Allen's. Do you think they probably thought, well, Lamar, you've already won it a few times. It's Allen's turn.
Yeah, and Allen beat him.
Yeah, okay.
And so that's where we are. What about the wide receiver groupings?
Well, I mean, Deebo Samuel. I mean, we were debating that Brandon Ayuk thing during the previous offseason. So here we go again. You figure Devontae is probably going to want to hook up with his boy Aaron, right? Wherever he goes, Devontae might want to go with Aaron Rodgers. And Cooper Kupp, I'm surprised the Rams are trying to let him go. I guess it's a salary cap thing and the emergence of Puka Nacua. But Cooper Kupp would be a nice fit for the Chargers.
I think so. Affordable price, not at $20 million.
Well, subsidized by the Rams.
Yeah, exactly. So those are all things NFL. Do you want to pick a name there on the board? Join us. Fans Forum chat box is open. Let's talk about Marshall Faulk, Josh Allen, Aaron Rodgers to the Raiders, and what wide receiver would you like to see go where and why? Feel free to jump on board. Fans